All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be on our third and final lecture on Nigeria, citizens, society, and the state. So, one of the necessary conditions for democratization is that citizens need to have time to pay attention and participate in the political process. The Nigerians don't actually always have that, and here are some of the problems that Nigeria does have. 60% live in poverty. There's a large gap between the rich and the poor. They have a Gini index of 50.6. They have major health issues, including the AIDS epidemic. 1 in 11 AIDS carriers are Nigerian. The government has also, in general, made AIDS a secondary priority, leaving much of the challenge to a small group of underfunded NGOs. Also, the government has provided medications through a small number of clinics, but they reach only a few thousand in a country where several million people are estimated to be HIV positive. Nigeria also has a literacy rate of 68%, which is high for Africa. It's one of the highest in Africa, but well below the world averages. As you can see in Nigeria, 75.7% for men compared to 87% in the world, and 60.6% for women compared to 77% for the worldwide women's literacy rate. There are also cleavages, as we've talked about in Nigeria. They are one of the most fragmented societies in the world, containing 250 to 400 distinct ethnic groups. Each ethnic group has a different language and religion. The three major ones that we do talk about, though, are the Hausa Fulani. In the north, 29% of Muslim groups, which dominate the northern half of the country, and that is seen in the yellow on your map here. We also see the Yoruba, which is this pink section, which is 21%. They're split between Muslims and Christian, indigenous religions. They dominate the southwest third of the country, and that's where Lagos, the former capital, is located. And then there's the Igbo. That's 18% of the population. That is this little kind of golden section right here. They're mostly Christian, and they live in the southeast oil-producing region. These are the three largest ethnic groups. However, most can't speak each other's languages, and they usually have no contact in general. Religion also plays a major role in the cleavages, with 50% being Muslim, 40% being Christian, and 10% being various native religions. There's disputed roots. Their disputes are rooted in preferential treatment that the British gave to the Christians, primarily in the south, in the role of Sharia law and Nigerian law in the north. There's also regional cleavages, north versus south. The north is predominantly Muslim. They tend to be less educated, poor, they're less industrialized, and they have poorer health care. Whereas in the south, they're predominantly Christian, they're more educated, and they're wealthier because of the oil reserves. Also keep in mind, too, with this, that the south is given preferential treatment by the British. And within civil society itself, it's open and free. It's seen a resurgence in recent years, now that Nigeria has had free and fair elections for the first time. It's mostly centered around ethnic identity and religion. The elites are members of private clubs and have professional organizations. Soldiers and veterans also belong to military support groups, and there are NGOs within the country of Nigeria. Elections are governed by the Independent National Election Commission. It was created to help legitimize the Nigerian election process, which was viewed as corrupt during the 2007 election. New reforms helped make the 2011 elections free and fair, which are the first in Nigerian history. They allowed same-day registration, local result verification, and they cleaned up the voting rolls. In 2011, we saw more than 3% of the votes declared invalid, with an approximately a 54% turnout. Jonathan won the South, Buhari won the North. Goodluck Jonathan did not win one of the 12 northernmost states out of the 36. And Buhari did not win more than 25% in the southernmost state in Nigeria that election. If you look at protests and demonstrations now, since the return of democracy in 1999, a number of ethnic-based and religious movements have mobilized to pressure the federal government to address grievances. There's been groups that purposely have targeted international oil companies in the Niger Delta. In July 2002, we see unarmed Ijaw women occupy the Chevron Texaco Nigerian's operations. This ended when officials agreed to provide jobs for women's sons and set up credit plans to help village women start in business. Which, this one's unique because usually under Obasanjo, many protests were violently suppressed. We go on to look in 2006 when protests had grew. Groups were organized to attack foreign-based oil companies. Armed rebel gangs blew up pipelines, disabled pumping stations, and kidnapped foreign oil workers. Nigeria is the world's 8th largest oil exporter. So these effects affected international energy markets, contributing to higher prices and tighter supplies. Some companies did leave Nigeria because of the instability. This was until a 2009 amnesty was signed, which calmed things down. Also, after the election of 2011, protests erupted in the north because Jonathan, who was a Christian from the south, retained the presidency. And many believe that this violated the informal rule of rotating presidents from north and south had been violated. And that's something that's unique about the Nigerian election system, is that they try to vary between the north and the south and alternate because of how many different people make up Nigeria. Finally, the last protest and demonstration we're going to look at is in 2014, with multiple demonstrations and protests broke out calling on Nigerian government to rescue schoolgirls who are kidnapped by the Islamist militant group Boko Haram, which Boko Haram is still a major, plays a major role in Nigerian politics, and we'll actually be watching a movie about them next week. So, I kept this one brief and quick, guys. You are done in another 6.5 minutes, so I'll let you go. Have a good night. Bye.